Galaga.
Galaga was the sequel to the 1979 shooter Galaxian.
Galaxian was very big when it came out. It had a lot of firsts, all right? But Galaga, its sequel,
some people will claim a superior game,
is just the far superior game.
This was the prime example of how to do a sequel right.
For one thing, it didn't have that Space Invader one bullet at a time style, and it also had a challenging stage where the player got to shoot enemies as they literally waltzed across the screen.
It was a pretty good graphical improvement over the first one too.
It actually was.
Those little space butterflies, what are they doing up there? There's no air to push, so what do they get? They're just flopping around in space and then they just go.
Galaga is a lot like the Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo of shooters back then. They took it, and Galaxian was a fairly slow game, and Galaga actually speeds it up.
Galaxian, you could only go pew. Galaga, you could go pew, pew, pew.
That was the one where they moved. Okay, it wasn't that was Space Invaders.
In Space Invaders and Galaxian and all those other clones of Space Invaders, the enemies were always, as soon as you start stage, preset. They were there, one pattern, that's it. Galaga mixed that up with having them actually come in the screen and set up their formations.
That was the first game with a familiar, wasn't it? A double ship.
Probably the coolest feature in Galaga is the ability to use dual ships, or dualies as I like to call it.
Which is a scam. Now in the game, you can allow your ship to be taken up by one of the enemies in the tractor beam, and if you shoot that guy, the ship falls and you get a double whammy. You get two side-by-side space shooters.
And then you just wreak holy destruction upon your enemy from now until the cows come home, or your aliens come home.
It's awesome, but as a kid, I was thinking, what's going on here, you know? Assuming this is like Pac-Man, you know, your character dies and you have an extra life, your character is more or less resurrected.
It's a scam because it's easier to get killed and you lose that life like a normal Galaga death. I don't like it, never did it.
So what's going on in Galaga? I mean, if your ship just got captured, but then you've got a life left and your character pops up at the bottom of the screen, who's that and who am I? And then when they link together, it's a friggin' paradox.
Galaga's been released on just about every single platform.
Yeah.
And this is another game that was distributed by Midway in America. So yet again, I mean, you had that and Ms. Pac-Man. You had a great 1-2 punch. Midway had a great year in '81, all right?
But it was a Namco game, and to this day, it still is a Namco game, and is on every single collection they put out.
They got new Galagas coming out. They got new Pac-Mans.
They've made so many incarnations and sequels to that game.
Okay, the Pac-Mans are pretty good. Galaga,
I remember Galaga 90 for the TurboGrafx, which seemed odd.
Yeah.
I think it was Galaga 89 in Japan. Galaga 90 was leaps and bounds better.
It's the 90s, yo!
Galaga, man, it's just one of those machines that whenever I see it, I have to play it, and I have to, you know, get in the zone and just score all those points and fail miserably at around stage 12.
Galaga just blends in for me with all the other shooters. I don't know, it just is like, there's so much space. It was a space age of gaming.
I guess it's influential, they're all influential.
Because I shot my own ship, because I'm terrible, and then my whole day is ruined, and what the frick do I play this game for? Yeah, that's Galaga, I love it.
It influenced me to walk past the Galaga machine to something else that I'd rather play. Oh, I got so sick of those shooters.